Welcome! And today we'll dive into the stories and reactions to the post from Yeet Dat Boy titled, "Aunt takes advantage of my grandparents and my mom's pregnancy to steal our house. She gets put in her place." Hi, this is Derek. I just put the Drama Llama, Fred, back in his pen so that I can do this quick video for you with some of the stuff that Fred found on Reddit earlier today. Oh boy, let's get ready for some stories. Yeet Dat Boy posted, "Aunt takes advantage of my grandparents and my mom's pregnancy to steal our house. She gets put in her place." Backstory: my dad has an older sister we'll call entitled Aunt. Always, even as a child, my grandparents treated her like an angel, and treated my dad like a piece of crap. For example, when my dad was in college, he wore clothes that had holes that were about 3 inches wide, and the tradition in China is that you get a lot of new clothes in the new year. His mom told him that they were going to get him a brand new coat for the winter, and my dad was really excited. A few days before New Year's, though, his parents said that they can't get him a coat. The coat they were going to give him cost 1,000 yuan, $143 US. But can you guess where that money went? Entitled Aunt's freaking boyfriend. How can you treat your son like that? Here's something worse: the coat they gave the boyfriend was 2,000 yuan. You could have just split the dang money so they both have new coats. The second my dad was out of college, he started working his ass off. He was able to give his parents money every year even when they treated him like poop. Later finding out that every year, all that money goes to entitled Aunt. But that's a different story. You get the gist. My dad treats his parents really well and all that effort equals nothing, or it goes straight to entitled Aunt. Story: for some reason, they hated my dad, mom, me and siblings. This happened a few years ago when my mom was giving birth to my brother. I didn't realize how bad this story was until a few years ago because I did not understand. So, I was born in Beijing. My mom was somehow able to foresee that prices in houses were going to go up in there, so she and my dad worked hard to buy as much houses as they can. However, there is a limit to how many houses you can buy in Beijing, but my mom was able to find a loophole. She bought the house with her own money, but put the house under someone else's name. She bought a house and put the house under my dad's mom's name. My mom paid for all the renovation. Important later, fast forward about 4 years. My mom was pregnant with my brother. There is a law in China that says no having more than one baby, so they came to the US to legally have a baby. This is when entitled Aunt saw her chance. She took advantage of my parents' absence to manipulate my grandparents, telling them to put the house my mom bought 4 years ago under entitled Aunt's husband. Obviously, my grandparents caved in really easily and transferred it. Luckily, my mom's brother, I don't know how, was able to find out that they transferred it. Now, we were still in the US, so we weren't able to deal with this immediately. My parents called their lawyers to have a court summoned for entitled Aunt. She took her time and waited for the last warning to finally come into court. She brought my grandparents along too. According to my uncle, she was smirking the entire time waiting for the trial to begin, thinking that our side of the court can't really prove it, while low-key insulting our side of the family. I don't know how to translate this, but she said things like, "My brother had always naughty, probably also passed it down to his children too," or "My brother was such a coward he didn't even want to come, 'cause he knew I'd win." Then came the sweet revenge. The court first asked entitled Aunt to talk. She said that the house was bought by grandmother and was then given to her husband. Obviously, with no proof. Then my uncle with the lawyers took out a record, clearly stating that my mother purchased this house with her own money. I wish I could have seen entitled Aunt's face, but my uncle described it as a dark green and maybe a little purple too. The judge then asked entitled Aunt if this was true. The judge stated that if she was to lie, she would end up with much worse than just giving the house back. Surprisingly, she still stood her ground and claimed that the house was indeed her husband's, who got the house from grandmother and paid for renovations. That's where she messed up. My uncle and the lawyers triumphantly took out another paper saying that my mother paid for all the renovations, clearly not my aunt's husband. That's when she broke down like a biatch. She started crying, screaming in indecipherable language. She was soon taken to jail for 1 to 2 years. I forgot, but holy crap, she deserved it. That got a load off my chest. This annoyed me for the longest time. My mom also tells me a lot of other stories about entitled Aunt and my grandparents, and they're pretty damn triggering. What are your thoughts on Yeet Dat Boy's story? Please share in the comments below. Now let's go on to hear how some Reddit members reacted to this story. Madison Green reacted with, "She is a horrible person. I hope she enjoyed prison." Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, "She never learned her lesson, she still insults our side of the family." Madison Green chimed in again with, "Well, when your grandparents die, she is not going to get any more free handouts. She is never going to be a happy woman." Horror Flick Guy reacted with, "Your aunt sounds like a black widow. They usurp and destroy what isn't theirs only to move on to their next victim. Sounds like she got her just desserts." Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, "Yeah, she totally is. Sadly, she is out of jail and harassing us through group chats." Trips Fugoff chimed in with, "Can you tell me your dad stopped supporting his awful parents at least?" Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, "No, he is way too generous to his parents. Regardless where that money is going and how they treat him." Themai Neil mentioned, "It seems like your family is pretty well off. There's nothing much you can do really, regarding your dad being generous to his parents. My mom was like this. She was given out to another family and ended up being successful. She had that mixed feelings about her actual parents being her uncle and aunt. She was given away yet they're always around to remind her that they're her actual parents. So there's always been a complicated psychological stuff that came with it. To cut story short, my mom had been providing for my biological grandparents and my adopted grandpa died a long time ago. But all that money and perks were given away by bio-grandma to this entitled aunt, which was their baby kid. She was super entitled, lazy, conniving, and materialistic. My mom even told her kids that she sometimes feels like a milking cow in the eyes of her bio parents, but she couldn't abandon them at the same time. It's been a long struggle for her." HappyFlano160 reacted with, "Is entitled and still the same way as she was in the past?" Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, "Sadly, yes. She keeps writing in a family sharing community chat saying things like how my dad is a disgrace to the family name and poop like that." HappyFlano160 chimed in with, "Wow, she sounds like an adult who never left being a child." Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, "Yeah, I really wish for the family to come together, but because of her, it's probably not happening because of how badly she manipulated my grandparents. On my 100th day, the Chinese tradition is to have the grandparents to praise the grandchild in the party. Because of entitled aunt, they never came." HappyFuno160 chimed in with, "Stay strong op, even in the USA where I live things like this can also happen. In my family we don't even support each other much. When we have family get together it's often stressful. Mainly great grandma being rude. Like one Christmas together with the family she and my cousin had a purse fight. My cousin at that time was pregnant, she miscarried sadly, not due to the fight. So stay strong, we all have our family problems." Lady of Yeet reacted with, "I have a feeling she came to your parents' wedding in a bride's dress, whatever is the bride's dress is in your culture. Did she?" Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, "She objected in the middle and said that my parents will never be happy together. She was kicked out the wedding. She never got an invite in the first place." Lady of Yeet followed up with, "Though did she wear a bride's dress? That's what I want to know. The objection was an obvious thing people like her do. Lol." Yeet Dat Boy responded with, "Yes, she rented this dress and she objected. She is also a really big slob, waiting for people to pick up after her. When she objected and got kicked, she took a quarter of the cake and spat on the rest of it." Watchflow83 reacted with, "If I were you, I'd make sure your parents have a copy of your grandparents' will, so when they pass she won't try anything else." Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, "I don't know, I think my grandparents will let entitled Ann inherit everything anyway." Yeeanator reacted with, Hippity hoppity, your house is now my property. Reasonably beyond me reacted with, I'm happy. And happy for your family to get rid of such toxicity entitlement brat biatch that tried to get her way. In the end, all of these entitled people will get karma slapped right back into their faces. Should send her a gift that says nice try and of course don't drop the soap. Lol. Saba Make reacted with, wish I could have seen the look on her face. What a terrible person, your dad's parents too. Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, yeah, but I also feel my dad's parents were also manipulated by the bratty aunt too. Saba Make followed up again with, they let it happen though. Look how they treated your dad compared to her. He didn't even have a coat but they gave money to her boyfriend at the time. They are to blame for why she is the way she is because they spoiled her. And your dad is too good of a person because he still was giving his parents money when he moved away. And they still tried to take advantage by letting entitled aunt take the house. Yeet Dat Boy followed up with, yes, you have a point. Smith 5664 reacted with, I'm betting when your grandparents pass away, entitled aunt will try to become your dad's best friend in an attempt to keep getting handouts. If they are still giving her the money, or some of it, that is sent to them, she's going to want to keep that handout coming. Parts 2020 reacted with, more stories and you should cut all contact with her. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't you think we have heard enough? Oh, I just checked and it seems like Op has more to say. So let's hear it then, Op. Yeet Dat Boy responded with, you want more stories? Fine. Where do we start? She manipulated my grandparents to not coming to my 100th day, which is a disgrace in China. The grandparents are supposed to praise the newborn after 100 days. There's also this time when I was at my cousin's birthday party. I was 7 at the time and they told the kids there saying, if any of you guys are able to kidnap him, his parents will pay you guys $1 million. Basically encouraging my own relatives to kidnap me. After the court case, they started acting all kissy-touchy with us. In China, after giving birth, the grandparents are supposed to bring food. They acted all nice, bringing in trash for my mom to eat. They brought in scraps of cabbage to make soup for my mother and leftover bones to add in the soup. We tried to act grateful, but it was obvious they were doing it on purpose. I have no idea why they hated our side of the family so much. There's also much more if you guys want. What the? Who does that to their own family? Well, obviously Op's entitled aunt. I'm going to call a timeout on this. Otherwise this video could go on for another month. Op. Please. No more stories. Please. No more. Duct Tape on Fleek chimed in with, I have no idea why they hated our side of the family so much. Dysfunctional families and people have a lot invested in maintaining their reality. Your grandparents decided long ago that your dad was worthless and your aunt was precious. That's the way it's supposed to be. Your dad made the mistake of finding someone to love him and creating a family of his own. That is unacceptable in their eyes. He is supposed to be unlovable. If other people love him and see value in him, that means they may be wrong, and there's no way they're letting that house of cards fall down. And finally, Darkskis 100 reacted with, I always love a story with a happy ending. I apologize to your father for the treatment he received growing up. He deserved better. He sounds like a good man and good father. One who married a wonderfully smart woman. I wish your family the best in your future. Well, there you have it. A perfectly great set of reactions from a bunch of upstanding citizens. Help support this channel by smashing the like and subscribe buttons. And hit that silly little bell as well to ensure you get the latest videos as they come out. Fred is always finding stuff for me to post regularly. So this is Derek signing off. Thanks for watching. Good grief, it sounds like Fred is out of his pen again. He must have found more stories for me to share with you. See you soon.